And a fun fact about me is as I do stand-up comedy. So, I mean, you might have seen something like that at every orientation event you've done in the last week now, but that's how mine was last year. And it occurred to me, since I'm my own first, that some of you, I might be your first stand-up comedian you've ever seen before. So I thought I'd introduce to you a little bit about what stand-up comedy actually is. So I don't know if any of you guys have Netflix. So if you've seen a stand-up comedy special on Netflix, it's just like that, but it's in person, like what you're seeing right now. There's a few dangers to stand-up comedy as well that I experienced. When I was in New York, traveling with my dad and my brother, so we sat pretty far back, right about here, and during the stand-up show, it was having a great time, and all of a sudden, the comedian looks at us, says my entire family is cosplaying as tablecloths, which I find, it was quite offensive at the time, I think, because we're from the Midwest, we just have to wear flannel all the time, and so it wasn't really fair. I mean, was it fair for them, for that comedian to attack my family for wearing flannel? Not really. Was it fair for my family to wear all flannel in the middle of winter at a stand-up comedy in New York City? Also not really. So there are a few dangers, and so when instances like that, it can feel quite offensive, the economy, when it attacks you. And I don't know if you guys are thinking, this guy right here, me, he wears flannel and a lot of denim. This guy sounds like a cat. And frankly, I agree, and if you think that, I can't blame you because, denim and flannel, that's a steal right there. So those are be quite dangerous stand-up comedy. And is that a 2026 class of 2026 shirt over there? It's fucking freshman? He's a freshman. Everybody point and laugh at his shirt because it's funny. Everybody point and laugh. He's wearing a shirt. Okay, maybe there's not somebody wearing a shirt there. Yes, you with the brown shirt. You're the guy I was pointing at. I'm sorry. But yeah, so I was making fun of your shirt, even though it's not in your shirt. But that's the dangers of stand-up comedy. That's just how it goes. So now you've been educated, I think. So welcome to college. I love it. I had a great time in college, but I'm here to inform you that in fact, all of your pets think you're dead. All of them. They don't understand the concept of going away to college. If you try to explain it to them, they would not understand what college is, what books are, or what towns are, or anything. And they don't believe in a Christian afterlife. They're just cold-hearted, atheists, you're dead, you're in the ground, you don't exist anymore. That can be sad. They're fish, they're cats. Nobody taught Fido about the gospel of Jesus Christ. So he's just sad. That's why they're so excited to see you when you come home. So when your dog or your cat sees you, when you get back from college, they're going to be ecstatic. The dogs, you jump in wall to wall, maybe be on the floor, so excited. The cats, honestly, they might just walk away. That's what my cat did. I came back from college, I was gone for about 4 months. The cat looked at me and then walked down the road. That was devastating. For a good chunk of high school, my best friend was that cat. And I hadn't seen him in 4 months. And I come back, he just looks at me, okay, yeah. So you're not dead, okay. I'm actually a little hungry right now, so we're gonna get the same thing I've eaten for 4 years now, so I'm more interested in that than you. But college it's amazing, right? I think you're in a new city. Welcome to Washington, D.C. I wanted to be here, and it's a confusing new city. It can be challenging to learn everything. I know when I first got here, I heard about this thing called the National Mall. It's damn, I could use a new pair of shoes, and maybe the food court might be nice. So, and then I found out what the National Mall actually is. That's pretty cool too. I think I can use that over a Kohl's or JCPenney, right next to our school. So then, for orientation, which is the process all of you are going through, as I'm sure you know, I remember my orientation. I was in the lead. I'm not sure if you're in the program. We have some lead people here. But I was in one of those meetings, And there was an orientation leader who wanted to make like an announcement. It was basically going over the part where, welcome to DC, welcome to the city, walk on the, like you could stand on the right side of the escalator, run up the left, like that type of deal we're talking about. And then she tells us, I need to tell you guys something very important about the metro. So whenever you're on the metro, she says, is you cannot eat, you cannot drink, you need to just sit there, and if you eat and drink, it's seen as incredibly disrespectful. To the people who live here, the people who work here, just, you don't want to be eating or drinking in the metro. I was like, okay, and she made this point. She like pointed out like 2 or 3 times. She's like, okay, I'm not eating or drinking on the metro. Later that day, going with Lee to a museum on the mall, not the Coles. And so I was drinking a can of like Coke or something. So I was like wondering, should I bring this on the metro? Because like it's just a can, I'm just drinking myself, take my mask down, and drink, and then you know how it goes. So sitting on the metro, going to the mall, and all of a sudden, I look over in the corner, and there's this guy who's in the corner of the metro, behind the walls or something. And how I describe what this guy was doing is, he was training the snake. He was shaking the hand of Dr. Winky. He was yanking the chain. He was having a wank, as you might say. What the hell is this? Like, here I am being told, don't drink, but then there's this is happening on the metro, and, you know, so like, why'd they tell me this? Right, and then I see this guy in a MAGA hat. He's just like looking at him, I am the entire time, and finally he gets up and goes over and talks to him. And he gets up and goes over, and see him like stand right in front of him, and the guy just kind of stops, and he's still doing it. He kind of stops and looks at him. And then the guy in the hat, he raises his right hand and salutes him, and thanks him for expressing his First Amendment right to self-expression. So, I mean, the metro is kind of a wild experience, as you see, and frankly, if those two people can get along, I feel like we all can. And that was a very memorable experience for me, and now, I eat on the metro. Now, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, like if you're eating a cup of corn, or like something like a hot dog, yeah, like just drink your bottle of like pop or something, just throw it there. Just don't spill, you know. We all seen this trail of like pop going down the side of the metro and then moving your feet to dodge it. And that's not fun for anybody. I'm gonna drink here in a second. Okay, so how many? Okay, so I've got the things on my wrist. It's okay. I'm still gonna be funny. I'll try to be, regardless that I can't memorize everything. I think it's a condition. I might have ADHD or AD something. Help me. I can't remember what exactly it is. But so I'm from a public school, and in coming here, I meet a lot of people that are from private schools, or from international schools, or from boarding schools, and all these things. And it's just like quite a shift in the difference of the lives that like we live differently. Like for example, like in public school, we just have like weird things, like math books. We just get the weirdest possible like word questions. They call them word questions. And we get the weirdest word questions. And so I'm just giving an example of one of them. Let's say Johnny, right? He has 2 slices of square rectangular pizza, and he eats 2/3 of the pizza. What does Johnny have? And if you came to public school, you would obviously know the answer. That is food poisoning. If you've ever been to high school, to a public high school, you know you can't eat more than half your pizza and about 2 drinks of expired frozen chocolate milk if you want to make it through 7th period. It's a minefield out there. Can't touch the yellow oranges, the oranges that look like they're lemons. The pasta with the neon sauce that just inexplicably neon. Now, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, there's a good chance you went to private school or this is your first time attending a school here in the good US of A. Now, I have a friend from California, her name is Charlotte, and I learned that she had lobster tails at her high school. So I can only imagine when they served lobster tails 2 days in a row, and then even though she wanted beef Wellington. I mean, if you feel bad for her, right? Coming from her. But so coming through all these different schools, coming from around the world, all these schools, coming from boarding schools, the tuition similar here, crazy. And a lot of times you feel out of place, right? I feel like I'm from public school, I don't belong here at this school because there's other people who have more money than me, they've done crazier things than me, their parents are wealthier, they travel the world wherever they want, and I don't belong here because I'm from Cornfield Central. And so, but the thing is this is actually a little bit of advice I'd like you guys to take away, is we're all here, we all got here, we all worked to get here, and none of us got into Georgetown. So that's going to be it all for me. If anybody wants to add my snap or just talk to me, I'm always a friendly face. See you guys.
Thank you very much for that great performance by Colin Bahula.